Welcome to a special Coffee with Dragon, special Saturday morning edition in h.a.dragan, Montreal. It's gonna be a special millennial cup of coffee intended for all ages. Paradoxical sounded, but if you reflect more deeply, you will understand. Of course, my videos are unedited and unedited, mostly semi-unscripted, but thought of course, with careful consideration for my obligations as a world citizen, LGBTQ world citizen, that is, as a universal spiritual teacher, and as a multidisciplinary artist international. This cup of coffee is dedicated part of my ongoing 40-day journey of action, meditation, and contemplation in order to avert World War III, global climate disasters, and international financial collapse. So to world peace, achieving what I call in my theorizing harmony between civilizational development and nature, and international financial security with increased socioeconomic, the addressing of increasing socioeconomic inequalities. It is June 15th. I'm very sore. I've worked out a lot past week, many hours of cardio, and a session of the general integrated workout, the Trinity workout. So I'm sore. I'm gonna probably take a bath after this session, Coffee with Dragon meditative session in Hawk Island, also known as Montreal. Want to discuss want to dis- want to discuss first a movie review on a lighter note. Movie reviews plural, and want to discuss the movie Split. There's of course a big YouTube community that does videos on discussing. Some of them are quite popular, have millions of views, on discussing, analyzing the movies and things in the movies that people have missed. For example, it can be a picture, it can be something they said, and in fact, have to give credit to this person whom I watched a YouTube video, that he did such a good job on one of the videos that indeed I had missed that part of a movie that I've recently seen on Netflix with a friend, and which he did a good job in pointing out. Said, "Hey, I missed that part." So it does help, especially if you like the movie, if you're intrigued by the movie's theme, topic, or analysis, or symbolic language, or symbolic imagery, also symbolic imagery that he discussed. Anyways, the one of the movies that I'm referring, since this week I've explored several, is the movie I Am Mother, which is a recent movie, Netflix movie. It's a sci-fi movie. Do recommend it, strongly recommend it. If you like the sci-fi genre, do find that there's, would not say entirely original, but would say that it's semi-original. Semi-original meaning that the script, the plot is original. And again, because of fellow YouTubers who did a very good job on it, and he pointed out that at the beginning of the movie it shows, it kind of hints in the future. I don't want the spoiler alert. I'm not going to spoil the ending nor go into depth. Do recommend it. Like I said, it's fine, it's semi-original, but there's something to it in the matter that it kind of hints, it shows at the beginning of the movie that it is 13,867 days after the event. An event happens and changes the world. I'm not gonna give it, I'm not gonna say what it is, and that changes the world order, if you will. And he actually said that that's how it hints that there was something in between that time, because the child that's shown was a child involved a young woman that grows up with with a robot, seemingly artificial intelligence and what have you, that's raised by an artificial intelligence. Of course, the name of the movie is kind of strange. I am mother in that sense, but it also indicates the relationship between the child and the seemingly robotic AI mother. But I digress too much. He hints that 13,867 days, which shows at the beginning of the movie, you have to read it. That's 37 years and about like 10 months or so, right? So almost 38, not entirely 38 years, but 37 years and 10 months, something like that. A few weeks to 38 years, let's say. So that gives you an indication of the timeline, because we don't know exactly what time the movie takes place, but we do know that there's an event or a big event and then several events, and that the action occurs or the development begins those 37 years and like a few weeks to 38 years, because 13,867, you have to divide it, of course, to figure out the years by 365. It's actually 365 plus something. It's almost 38 minus a few weeks. Anyhow, so he did a good job with that. There's several. Unfortunately, would love to praise, but do not recall the name of the YouTuber at the present moment in time. But we'll try to write it and give praise to them after I post the video, depending if I post it within the next days or so, and what have you. Special rum with the coffee today, rum from my friend, gifted Cuban rum. And so, and another movie that I want to say now, to discuss about, to say that it was good, and to state that it was quite very good and close to excellent in my opinion, as was I Am Mother. Would definitely see I Am Mother again. So if there are movies that I would see again, they're in the more than good. They're going to the excellent, would see it again type. For me, my categories, you know, give stars. Let's say I would give 4 stars minus a quarter of a star, so 3, almost 4 stars plus first 4 stars for I Am Mother. And the next movie, Split, would also give about 4 plus stars. Split is a very, very disturbing to some movie. It's psychological, it's thriller. It deals, of course, with a person who has multiple personalities. It's called a multiple personality disorder in the psychological terms. And his personalities are quite sometimes very, very different from each other. Different, not just, and interesting enough, this is one of the themes of the movie, which is quite original as a movie, I would say, in many aspects, and very good. James McAvoy really embodies, incarnates that person. And before I go on, I do again want to say that one of the YouTubers did a great job with the movie, in the movie analysis, in that he pointed out a lot of things that have missed also myself in the movie, that were, to him at least, and it seems that they were important in the movie. So you watch it for yourself, you look at, you do it, you do that research, you watch first, you have to watch the movie. So the movie, in my opinion, was very good. Very good in the sense that it explores the possibilities of what the mind can, is, I mean, from what we know scientifically, psychologically about the mind, we're still discovering a lot about the mind and how it functions. But this specific movie deals with a person who had not just multiple personality disorder, but would say multiple personality disorders. There were 23 personalities, distinct personalities, with an emerging 24th personality that was, some say, the central personality, in that it was an amalgam, or it was the most powerful, the most also bizarre, most inhuman, if you want, or that you, whatever you want to say. You really have to see the movie. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything in it, but in my opinion, it was a great flick, and would definitely see it again. Again, James McAvoy was just very good. The other actors, young teenagers, were also very good, especially the protagonist was excellent, and she incarnated the role. And would speculate, and this is, you have to see the movie, spoiler, I would actually say that the personality of the child in the movie has a deeper connection and a deeper meaning, and is actually the main personality, in my opinion, because at one point in the movie it mentions, and this is, I found that the ones who did the analysis do not realize this fact. At one point in the movie it said, although one did state that, and this is important, that the child actually can give power, or can decide in a way who takes the light. And this taking the light in the movie is referring to which personality emerges and is dominant or controls the body of that period in time. And predominantly those three personalities, the child and the other ones, one, the personality is called Dennis, and the other one is called Patricia, which were quite interesting, that they dominated the scene, if you will. And there were 20 others, right? The child, Patricia, and Dennis dominated most of the time, but there were 20 other personalities. One of them was named Bernice. So you see that there's transcendence of genders as well, right? It's a female and a male. And what happened to this character is that they also had different characteristics and different allergies. For example, one had diabetes, one had not. Things that reflected in the physical realm, and the strengths were different, more powerful, more this and that. Even the size of the body shaped and changed. So really fascinating movie. That was quite interesting. And another thing that was, to me, important, that because one of the personality, Patricia, states twice or three times maybe this phrase. It's like almost like a philosophical phrase, and that I found that many omitted or did not find to discuss, but I find it important in her philosophy, because they discuss the philosophy of the main, if you want, protagonistic character, of course, called the Beast. The Beast is central as the personality, emerging personality. But also Patricia and Dennis and the child, of course, and of course the Beast was more of an antagonist, of course. Protagonist was actually the young girl. But it's also not entirely that black and white, or not that clear. There's some distinctions. You have to see the movie, you have to judge for yourself. It's really a personal journey, if you want, in many ways, for each and every one of us, with our own experiences in life. If you experienced one of the main themes also is trauma. That trauma, some people, causes them to be stronger. Nietzsche's one of Nietzsche's quotes. You might know this quote from Conan the Barbarian, and not from Nietzsche, but it's actually from Nietzsche. It's, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And stronger, not perhaps just physically, emotionally, psychologically, but also mentally, because it seems that the characters they had developed, and it was one person in one person's body, who transformed, who changed, who metamorphosed, with so many distinct mental faculties that he was able to do in different skills, right? Mathematics, language, problem solving, creativity, and the like. Creativity, I think, not that much explored, but was the child's main power or force. The beast was a lot of brutal physical strength to the point of otherworldly, lion-like, if you will, power, strength, force. And the other characters were also very unique. Dennis was a bit of a maniac with cleanliness and order. Patricia was a very stern personality, very like an institutional educator, but one of those, imagine, more in fascist Germany, Nazi Germany type of high-ranking um, educational regimented type of personality, or in, you can imagine, in USSR for that matter, a communist dictatorship for that matter, in the Soviet Union, dictatorship, or Romania, or Nikolai Ceausescu's wife, if you want, something like that. Anyhow, so another thing was this quote of Patricia's thing, that it's important because it's seemingly out of place, but it's quite central to the dialogues that are happening, and there's key phrases that are used to indicate the philosophy, what happened, and the main themes and principles of the movie. It says, in the sun we will find passion again, we will find purpose. In the sun, or vice versa, we will find purpose. In the sun we will find passion again. In the sun we will find passion again. In the sun we will find purpose. Quite cryptic, if mystic even. I would say even mystic more than philosophical. But anyways, that's it. And now another movie for the third and final Coffee with Dragon Saturday movie review and exploring millennial themes. Movie that I've seen last night. It's called, or no, I'm not gonna, on that movie, I'm gonna go with the movie that I've seen last night. Curse of the Mayans. Curse of the Mayans, so movie. Worth watching, I guess. It's not a known movie, and interestingly enough, it explores Mayan history, legend themes, and involving, of course, the prophecy. A different interpretation or take, if you will, creative take on the Mayan prophecy of the end of the world that was supposed to happen 31st of December 2012. But as, of course, a student of American, and what I mean by American civilizations is, I mean from the North America to South America, so all of America, including present day, what is, as you see, the flags of Canada, Mexico, the United States of America. Here's a North American world LGBTQ citizen. Yours truly, Adrian, rebirthing as Hannah, h.a.dragan. You see that's in this context. Usually when I say America, I refer mostly to the whole continent, from down in Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina up to Alaska, and of course the North Pole. So as a student of those civilizations, and do state, and then my theory is that, of course, there was a Native American, what's called Indian American, and Indian, of course, Indian American, Native Americans. Indian Americans do say that they were actually more of a civilization, that it's advocated. Usually don't, I mean, depending on the centric point of view, but prefer to use it as a civilization and discuss it as civilizations, and rather than just tribes. But anyways, this discusses Maya civilization, the Mayans, which of course lived or on what is now the territory of the country state of Mexico. It's worth seeing. It's worth making your own opinion. You know, it's a different movie. It's not that high budget or that Hollywood. It's different. The graphics are different. The dialogue, but overall, it was worth watching. There's a lot of Spanish in it, so the Curse of the Mayans is called. Myself, who's a Spanish speaker, I love the Spanish language and understood most of it. There's, of course, at one point some of the native languages of Mexico, and even supposedly some more ancient Mayan language in it. And for some reason, there's at one point, interestingly enough, I guess the character was supposed to be, but she was speaking in Romanian, which kind of found that strange because it didn't say it was Romanian, but it kept translating. So I guess people who don't speak Spanish or Romanian, myself speak both, and of course English, would be able to discern that. There's at one point there's somebody speaking on the cell phone, and it's a few phrases, a conversation of about 37 seconds, but it's in Romanian, so it's kind of that was the only part that was kind of more out of place, if you will, but because I guess the character, but it didn't indicate that she was special. Anyways, so yeah, worth seeing, watching overall. Curse of the Mayans, Split, and I Am Mother movie review, and now we will have a little wafer from Israel, Israeli wafers. Not the best Israeli wafers that I have had. Once you get into it, it's a bit better tasting. I'm not sponsored. Don't have any sponsorships, so I'm not gonna name names. I'm actually struggling financially in a financial crisis. My finances are precarious, living with about $10,000 in debt, paying $80 about a month interest, artist gigs, slow, and of course for my spiritual teachings, do not charge money but do accept donations, of course. Anyhow, so those movie reviews. Now we will discuss millennial issues, millennial lifestyles, millennials of the world unite across the borders, millennials of the world unite across the borders, millennials of the world unite across the borders. Nana Kanye, you ain't no millennial. Nana Kanye, you ain't no millennial. Nana Kanye, you ain't no millennial. Dump that Trump up in the trunk, wrap up, and no world wars. Stop this trade war mess, man. If you don't know that I'm an artist with this coffee, man, you better know that this be blessed. Freestyling this, we in a big mess. Opioid crisis, man. No housing, man. No peace and no rest. A wicked daisy on my lips, my blessed man. Lick ass and kiss my lips. Huh? Cheers. If you don't know that, yours truly, Adrian, rebirthing as Hannah, h.a.dragan, ADRIAN, is and has been an underground rapper since 1996. Yep, since 96 I've been an underground rapper. Started quite early rapping at 11, but unfortunately right now I'm in the minus, have only a few bucks to survive until the 40-day journey ends on the 21st of June, and then I have a little bit of capital to fund food and other securities, and have lived many crises: spiritual, psychological, financial, emotional, physical crisis during my 34 years of life. But I've written many poems. I've written thousands of poems, I think I have about 156 in this room. In other rooms, some gone, some garbage being absorbed by Mother Nature or recycled in somebody's notebook. Maybe now that have been transformed. Anyways, addictions, millennials. Everybody's willing to listen. Oh, I feel like burning. I feel like my whole body's burning. Addictions, overcoming addictions. Yep, yours truly has struggled with addictions, and this topic is brought as a topic since in the past weeks I've noticed while going on my health walks, peace walks, and nature walks. And for the Dragon Fit program, of course, the Dragon Gym, for hours and hours and hours losing weight, I've noticed throughout, not all, but mostly during the center core area, north, south, east, and west core area. What I mean is a few miles spread round about Mount Royal down to the river on the southern part, because Hawk Island, also known as Montreal, is of course an island. We are surrounded by a big river. And I've noticed, call for addiction, call to addiction relief, and it was from an organization, and it was calling. Had a paper, many places on Montreal where you can take a little piece with a phone number. It was in black and white, and it was big letter. Are you addicted? You're not alone. This one. So fighting addiction. So I guess haven't called them, haven't checked what's up with them. What would they offer an addict relief, or how you can struggle against your addiction? Yours truly, world LGBTQ millennial citizen, has struggled in the past with addictions. Cigarette addiction. Could say that I was addicted to cigarettes. Haven't smoked cigarettes in more than 7 years, which is great. I'm not looking to smoke again, the habit. Of course, maybe once in a while, a cigarette, a weekend like that, I might just take it, but not inhale it probably. Can't say I haven't smoked for years, but not as a habit, of course. But an addiction is really something that people do on a daily basis, and it's very different than a habit. So regardless of the thing that we're addicted to, an addiction generally usually say that it's a negative thing, right? It drains energy, drains resources, financial resources, emotional, physical, psychological, even physical, right? The drain, the stress. Addictions can come in many ways. My question would be, is there a good addiction? Myself have found that recently, although I've done it to sublimate my own negative psychological, emotional states, frustration, the psychological, financial nature, artistic nature, that these walks that I'm going, this exercising, this working out, training regularly, and have started documenting them on YouTube, online, for documentation assessment purposes since February 11, 2018. So more than a year, which have of course dropped more than 61 pounds up to date, which is, to me, is a lot. Started at 251.6 and now I'm about 190, so about more than 61.6, and I'm looking to drop 5 more by June 21st, when my 40-day right action plan and meditation to avert World War III, global financial collapse, and international climate disasters. So a little rum from my friend, from Cuban rum. Put it in the coffee. Cheers to our health, my friends, supporters and allies. Joy, health, strength, and financial recovery, healing and blessing. So, addictions, yeah, it's a big question. My main theory, or what has worked, or what we'll find out will work for me, will be sublimating and channeling and changing the habits. But it has to do with psychological, physical, mental, even some would say spiritual, myself included, spiritual values. And it varies from case to case. We can make general statements, but then again we have to go for me, for you, for they, for them, for the variety of whatever the addiction. How do you fight it? How do you combat it? You need support. You can do it on your own. Ultimately, it has to be one's will, right? I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. So many delusions, so many illusions. Addictions. Here, you're not addicted. Because it's something you don't need to survive or to have joy, for that matter. Where do you find joy? Myself, I'm a proponent of joy in strength. Joy in strength. What's joy in strength? Well, some would say just physical. NFL, boxing, mixed martial arts. Also, but strength can also be focusing for 4 hours non-stop, just reading, studying, just reading a book. That's also strength. Writing poetry for an hour non-stop, or 4 hours non-stop. Creating a theater play. That's also strength. It doesn't have to be necessarily just physical. It's physical, myself say spiritual, and psychological. Mental and emotional. An addiction really saps your strength. Strength in addiction. Can you find strength in addictions? By itself, by the definition, an addiction is something that you can't control, that overpowers you, that takes power over you. What have you struggled with? What do you wrestle with at night? I'll give you an example. I was wrestling with my being bisexual. Being bisexual is in an adolescent. My bisexual, my homosexual experiences date to my youth when I was a young child. How do I wrestle with that? Well, you wrestle because of external factors. Oh, you're gonna go to hell, you're sinning. But then you realize, or if you come to the realization, because there's millions, of course, who still believe that homosexual activity or love, would say love, I have to mention it, because love is very important for me. Physical, of course, requires physical love to touch, love being touched. Could be touched right now, actually, but gotta give yourself a little bit of love, right? And resentments, right? But the addiction is of course something that overpowers. So you wrestle with it. Drug addiction, opioid addiction. You have physical ailments. Opiate addiction, and you become addicted to opiates. Coffee. Am I addicted to coffee? The other day I was thinking, when I saw that around town, piece of paper, black and white, said addiction. What am I addicted to? I said, am I addicted to coffee? I said, on my walks usually I take a coffee, I buy a coffee, but really I could just go with water, really. I drink coffee every day. Am I addicted to coffee? Is it a habit? But then with my coffee, I do videos, I stimulate my mind. I'm having this coffee with Dragon here for my own, it's like a dialogue with self in a way. I'm hearing my own voice, although it's not that pleasant, my own voice. Prefer heard the voice of a beautiful girl from New York yesterday. We interacted a bit, helped her in some photos, but that's it, we parted ways. Also met somebody from Germany, had a beautiful voice as well, so would actually love that the guy from Germany and the girl from New York whisper each in my left and my right ear right now. That being said, addictions. Am I addicted to coffee? I would say no. I would say I'm not addicted to coffee because I use it to read. I did that. It's more of a habit than an addiction. What's the distinction? What's the question? How can we discern? Addiction usually has a negative connotation, right? It overpowers us. We need it. We can't function without it. Millennial addiction. Remember 2 years ago when I went on my journey east to west Canada for the first time with my friend? And out east there was a discussion session that was held. I saw a poster for millennials. I think it was advertised for millennials specifically. So millennials, of course, again, were a generation that's born between 1982 and 1996. So 13-year range. 19, some say 1983 to 1996. Me, I'm 1984, of course. End of 1984, to say November. Scorpio power, unite. Scorpios of the world. Who's a Scorpio? Bill Gates. Who else? Leonardo DiCaprio. Scarlett Johansson. Those are actors, I should say. There's a lot of women politicians. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda something, is a Scorpio. Anyhow, you get the idea. So, addiction. My question is that I'm trying to figure out right now, and perhaps it's because of guilt, because of repressions, and once again, as an independent psychological teacher, am never advocating repression of feelings and emotions. I'm advocating non-violence all the time. I'm advocating non-violence at all times, and non-violence at all times to another, unless of course it's consensual, like don't mind to be whipped sometimes and get some pleasure from that. But when I say stop or safe words or that, type of lifestyle, it's beautiful, it's cool for those, so consent, yeah. But harm none is a principle, golden rule, stuff like that. So I was thinking, was I addicted? Am I struggling with my pornography addiction? Am I addicted to porn? There was a time I watched every day, sometimes for hours and hours and hours, weekend hours and hours and hours. Was I addicted to drugs? I would say yes. If I would be, to be honest with me, I would say that in my youth, in my adolescence, early adulthood, had a drug addiction problem. To what degree? If you've been mild, moderate, severe, yellow, orange, and red, if you will. It's probably orange, meaning to say the degree of severity of the addiction. But now, as soon as I saw that, as I'm going on my walks, I said, am I addicted to pornography? If so, is there somebody else who's addicted to pornography? What can we do to replace it? Can we exercise instead? Can we use our imagination instead? Can we moderate it? What's the increase of an addiction? Every day, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Pornography. Addiction. Is it? What is it? On a lighter note, we will now have a fortune cookie. Fortune cookies, I've discussed the theory before. That these fortune cookies are prophetic or they're philosophical, spiritual, psychological statements of who you are. I got two, so there's two, so one for me and one for my friend. Interesting. There's two copies. I don't remember getting any copies of these fortune cookies before. So I get these fortune cookies for this special cinema where I go, where it's affordable cinema, but the movies that are playing there are not current theater movies, but they're about a month to a few weeks after the movies of the regular cinema, but it's an affordable cinema. A ticket is only $2.50. It's called the Dollar Cinema in Montreal, Hawk Island. And when I was struggling with deep poverty, depression, and other psychological issues, was, I would say, also emotional issues. I'm still struggling with emotional issues. I have to say anger, resentment, and bitterness. Struggling. Life is a struggle, my dear friends. But is there to be joy in that struggle? Strength through joy, as I said. Joy to strength, I guess. You get what you want through your charm and personality. So this is more of a statement than a prophecy, because some are like prophetic. You will this, you will that, you will what. You get what you want through your personality. What right now, what I want, what I will is for my, I would say, my poetry book to get published by this summer. That's one. Would love to get to become this, I say, by July 24th. So that's 37 days from now. To be in the fittest, strongest, healthiest that have ever been in my entire adult life. I'm still an 11-year-old child internally, but that's another discussion. Anyhow, so addictions, yeah. I have to analyze. Am I addicted to porn? Let's see. Today's Saturday, June. Next Saturday. Today's June 15th, 2019, according to some. So if I make another cup of coffee with Dragon next Saturday, which is going to be the first Saturday of summer, it's going to be June 22nd, right when I begin my new program, 40-day program, after the 40-day program to avert World War III and global climate collapse and international financial crises. On the 21st, on the 20th it ends, and on the 21st we'll begin a new 40-day project of action, meditation, and love. So that would, three things that I would love to do this summer is, of course, publish my by summer, by the end of summer, publish my poetry book, get by, actually not by the end of summer, but by early summer, by July 24th. So that's 37 days or so to become 37 days exactly, and maybe 18 hours to get in the 37 days and 18 hours and 42 minutes. 37 days, 18 hours and 42 minutes. 37 days, 18 hours and 42 minutes. I'm gonna write that down. So I got that time to get in the fittest, strongest, healthiest physical transformation that have been in my entire adult life. It's feasible. Feasible is gonna, like I felt this past week, so lots of pain. But no pain, no gain, right? So that, and then start a revolution. 3 things. So publish a poetry book, not your average. Goals, summer goals, but I guess most millennials, tell me what's happening, are concerned with getting their bodies ready for the beach. But I have a fitness health one too. It's to get in the fittest, strongest, most powerful, and healthiest that have been in my adult life by July 24th. So could lose more pounds, planning to lose more, get fitter, do more push-ups, do more squats, do more hawks. And so what is the other one is the other one is publish a poetry book, of course, and start a revolution. Well, a revolution of what, where, for what? Like I've stated, of course, this revolution is part of my creative projects. Get going and hug and hug and hug, and basically a revolution of love. Revolution of love is what I mean. There's never been such a thing before. A revolution of love. What? What? What are you willing? You will love. They will love. You will love. We will love. Will then love. And now, for a special ending of this session, we will contemplate. Yes, I know. We will listen to yours truly, Adrian, Adrian, H rebirthing as Hannah, H.a.n.n.a.h, Dragan, D-R-A-G-A-N. So, being universal spiritual teacher, world LGBTQ citizen, and international multidisciplinary artist, I'm also an independent psychological theorist, social psychological theorist, historian theorist, and financial theorist, social, psychological, financial, independent theorist. So this one we will listen 9, 10, yeah, 2, 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is yours truly, world citizen Adrian h.a.dragan. This is an original lecture, discussion, and theorizing of my own writing and concordance of my own psycho sexual and psychosocial development, growing